All patient meals will be rethermalized by use of a microwave oven before serving. This is a very bad word. And in general, this is way, way too many words. Is this badly written because it has too many words in it? Or is it badly written because it has bad words in it? And aside from words you're not supposed to say on TV, what are bad words anyway? And how are you supposed to know? Well, that's what Lesson 2 is all about. Telling bad words from good. This is the way I think about all communications. The power of a piece of communication is equal to the meaning it conveys divided by the amount of attention it consumes. So whenever I write or edit, I'm trying to maximize the power of whatever I'm working on. And I can do that by adding more meaning or by killing words, which means for each and every word I can ask this question. Does it add more in meaning than it takes away in attention? Because there is always a trade-off. Like, say, rethermalized. And we know it's a bad word because we could use something simpler like reheated. All patient meals will be reheated by use of a microwave oven before serving. But this is still long. All patient meals will be reheated before serving. A little better, but we've still got options. All patient meals will be reheated before serving versus don't serve cold meals. Each one of these comes with different connotations, but the one on the right has crossed the line from instructions to process improvement. Why are the meals cold in the first place? So if you're a hospital and you don't want to deal with the fact that your service is simultaneously very poor and outrageously expensive, then the version on the right will scare you. But if you're a person trying to get things done, the clarity of the one on the right gives you a lot of power. You get to what's really going on, and then you have a shot at doing something about it. Each additional word you use demands more of a reader's attention. While transitions and style tricks are often nice, they involve a ruthless and unforgiving trade-off. Beyond a point, additional words make it harder to get to your point, assuming that you have one to begin with. So buried in this pile of words is the whole point of today's lesson. If you have a minute, this is a great time to pause the video and get some ink on your hands. Go ahead and murder some of these words. So here's one way to start the slaughter, but I can definitely cut out more. Now this needs to be cleaned up, so get to your point. Have one to begin with. But if that's all I'm going to say, can I say it more simply? Can I say it with fewer words? These are the questions that you always have to ask. Have a point and get right to it. So as it happens, I can do it with less words. Now, nothing about any of these operations have been complicated. But I think the reason that people have such trouble with writing clearly is either they don't try or they don't realize that there are many ways to say the same or a similar thing. And then what you really do as a writer is explore the spaces of possible sentences and paragraphs and choose the best one for the task at hand. I am stupidly fast at this, and I do most of it in my head, but that's because I've been doing it my entire career, my entire life, really. But if you take a little time to work at this skill, I mean just a little bit every day, your writing will improve very quickly. I'm not a magical chosen one. If you work at this, you can do it. But a word of caution. Don't make yourself crazy. Give making something clearer an honest try every now and again, and then move on with your life. As William Zinsser said, there's no sentence that's too short in the eyes of God. But, as Voltaire said, the perfect is the enemy of the good. So here's my pithy advice. Try to suck a little less each day. Now that might not sound like much of an accomplishment, but the vast majority of professionals aren't improving at all. So if you are getting better at any kind of rate, in 6 months, the change will be apparent. And in 3 years, you will look like a world-class expert compared to where you were. But there's another benefit to working this way with the language. Your thinking improves. It works like this. You have an idea and you write it down. And since the first draft of everything is shit, you read what you wrote and you figure out that you can say it better. Or you realize that your original idea was unsatisfactory in some way, and you have a better idea. And there you go. Bang. You're rewriting. So watch. We took this pile of words and got to here. And this might actually be trying to cram too much meaning into too few words. How much thinking does it take to unpack all of the implications of this statement? This is a lecture on this topic, and I've been talking for, 7, 8 minutes, and I feel like I've barely scratched the surface. So yeah, let's take a look at this. So what happens if we start with that simple sentence? If we apply the first lesson and start with the most important thing. Which gets me with a little work to here. What I think is nice about this is that it uses the first sentence as a title and a conceptual handle to hang the point upon. If I'm scanning the page, this pops out. Have a point and get right to it. Each word you use demands a portion of your reader's attention. At some point, additional and needlessly complicated words make it harder for your reader to understand. So how'd I do? More to the point, how did I do compared to this? Omit needless words. Vigorous writing is concise. A sentence should contain no unnecessary words, a paragraph no unnecessary sentences. For the same reason that a drawing should have no unnecessary lines and a machine no unnecessary parts. This requires not that the writer make all sentences short or avoid all detail and treat subjects only in outline, but that every word tell. This is canonical writing advice. And I love this paragraph. But it does leave us with the question of how you know if a word is needless, which I'm trying to answer with this course. Because unless you actually know how and are willing to kill a word, saying omit needless words is like telling somebody that making money in the stock market is a matter of buy low, sell high. It's exactly right, but it's perfectly useless till somebody shows you how to do it. But that's why I put this together. So, optional homework. Omit the needless words from this paragraph. Now, don't be a Philistine and delete everything other than the first sentence, but do scrutinize this and see what you'd like to get rid of. This was written in 1910, 1915, so the way we use the language has changed. Look at the trade-offs of losing the style of it and cutting right to the chase. And notice also that the style and tone here can be important information on their own. But how important? What exactly is not needed here and why? You decide. Don't overthink it, and don't spend too much time on it. Just work with it for 4 or 5 minutes. Because as much as I love this paragraph and the elements of style, I also love the timeless advice of Pierre Abelard. Be precise in use of words and expect precision of others. Watch for error, even in Holy Scripture.